September 27, 2016. On the Phantom Forces subreddit, Shaylin's post titled, "Yes?" screenshots of the model for the AA-12 were posted, setting off the reaction for massive amounts of hype for the gun. The post comments are filled with statements about hype. Finally, an automatic shotgun was coming to Phantom Forces. This post, however, was the last of AA-12 that the community would hear about for a while, years to be exact. Nevertheless, the community still remained hyped. Posts continued about the AA-12 and the hype in the community still held strong despite nothing from the developers being said about its status in the game. Jump to April of 2019, the AA-12 was finally added to the test plays and soon joined the main game on May 13, 2019. Finally, the community had gotten what they wished and dreamt for years, the AA-12, an automatic shotgun. No more questions about if it still exists, no more waiting for something, just anything for news about the gun. The community could finally play happily now with the AA-12's addition, or so they thought. One of the big question marks around the AA-12 was how they could possibly balance such a weapon. Surely an automatic shotgun would be nothing but overpowered. The community's initial reception of the gun's balance did seem to take it well. People seemed to think that the gun was balanced for the most part. Now, coming back to Phantom Forces, it really seems the community is split in many ways about the AA-12 and its balance. What was once the most hyped and anticipated weapon in Phantom Forces history quickly became disliked by many for various reasons. It's almost comical looking back to how many people longed for this weapon, only for it to come into the game and become one of the most hated weapons by many in the community. I always expected the gun itself to make it into the game eventually, but one of the most polarizing aspects for this weapon is its 20-round drum, which I don't think anyone could have expected. It definitely seems to be the area that causes most people's issues with the gun. With a slight walk speed reduction and slightly longer reload time, the drum does have its downsides, but many feel that isn't enough. So that brings us to a few days ago, August 9th, where in the test plays, the AA-12 along with the Remington 870, Serbu shotgun were all issued a change that makes it so that the drum mag for the AA-12 and the extended tube for the Serbu and Remington are now available to use as attachments in the ammo category as opposed to the other category. This means that the extended tube or 20-round drum can no longer be used in combination with an ammo type like flechette, birdshot slugs, or rubber pellets. I think that this is an interesting change for the AA-12 and I don't entirely hate it, honestly. It seems that people are really split about how they feel about this as well, and there seem to be split on what option of attachment they will go with if this change is fully implemented into the main game. This is only the test place after all, so nothing here is exactly final or should be expected to be. Flechette is one of the more popular choices for ammo type for shotguns, but at the same time, 20 rounds is pretty nice. Personally, I think that I will stick to using flechette. I do enjoy using the drum and having that extra bit of ammo without needing to reload, but it's not something I won't mind giving up in favor of better penetration depth. I kind of look at the AA-12 without the drum similarly to how I look at the Saiga 12. While the Saiga does have a slightly higher fire rate and less spread, the AA-12 also has a quicker reload time for the same mag size, and when using shotguns, I try to stick to close range unless I'm using the Stevens DB or KS-23M, so I don't necessarily mind more spread with the AA-12. The Saiga's base reload time is only just better than the AA-12's reload time when it has the drum by a few tenths of a second, and it's quite noticeable of a reload time since you're using a mag rather than a pump action shotgun and being able to cycle in rounds continuously. Compared to the AA-12 without the drum, the AA-12 has better reload times by at least 1 second, which is pretty impactful feeling. Maybe it's just because I've been using the drum for so long, but the AA-12's reload time feels pretty quick with just no drum equipped. I really think that what attachment you choose to use on the AA-12 will come down to preference or playstyle. If you've got worse ammo management as it relates to reloading, maybe the drum is a better choice for you. If you like to take advantage of wall bangs like me, flechette is the way to go. I find the community's reception to this quite interesting, especially given the way that they kind of thought about and talked about the AA-12 before. People have said that the AA-12 is really nothing without the drum, and the drum is what makes it relevant and what makes it usable. I do feel like they're exaggerating at how bad the AA-12 is. Yes, it's got awful spread, but you can really take advantage of the properties that it has in close range with or without the drum, so I don't think it's so awful that without the drum there's no point to using it, and without the drum it doesn't have any worth in the game. This isn't a traditional nerf, but it does feel impactful nevertheless. It is worth noting though that if the ammo type was never expanded to being its own category, rather than being a part of the other tab like it used to be, using the flechette drum combo would never have happened. I would be curious to see what y'all think about this. I have seen some people vehemently against this change and others in acceptance of it, as they felt this was needed all along. Like I said, some people thought that the drum was kind of like a pity attachment. You need that for the AA-12 because it's just so bad that nothing else can really prop it up. But some people thought that the drum was rather on the overpowered end and was just too powerful and too much for what you could do in close range. It will definitely be interesting to see if this has an impact in the amount of people using the AA-12. It seems like more lately than not, people have been opting to use the AA-12 over just another shotgun. I feel like I see the AA-12 more than anything else, even something like the KS-23M or the Stevens DB. Heck, I see the AA-12 more than the KSG-12. So it'll be interesting to see if this has an impact in the amount of people using it, should it be added to the main game. I would be interested in seeing if it actually cuts away at the amount of people using it, or if people have just grown so attached to using the AA-12 that they will still use it. And as far as a nerf goes, if you were in favor of doing something to the AA-12 or doing something to the 20-round mag, there wasn't really much room for what could necessarily be done that made a lot of sense. Even this to some feels like a bit of a reach, as it's a drum, not an ammo type, but I guess the idea is that because it affects your ammo, being that it's a drum, it is kind of like an ammo attachment in a sense, so it fits in the ammo type category. This really seems like the best option as far as nerfing the drum goes. You obviously, of course, couldn't really nerf a 20-round drum to having less shots, and removing it isn't something that stylists can necessarily do at the moment. So while some people are definitely disappointed by this as they love that flechette 20-round drum combo, I'm actually kind of in favor of the change, and it seems like a quite interesting change to try out, so I'm definitely curious to see how people take this and what the community reception is like and how it affects the use for it in game. As I mentioned, I would love to get your thoughts on this, so definitely be sure to let me know what you think in the comments. I've done past polls and whatnot on the AA-12, and a majority of people erred on the side of nerfing the AA-12 or its drum or flechette or something like that. So if that was you, are you happy with this? If you're not happy with this nerf, if you feel it doesn't do enough, what else would you propose doing? Be sure to let me know in the comments. That's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.